Hello and welcome. Today, I'm talking about Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary. So, this one I read quite a while ago, about a year ago. But I do remember it. I do remember how well I enjoyed it. And let's put it this way. I read this one. Someone told me I should write a script. I have bullet points, kind of. Anyway, I read this one, but it has been a while, so it'll be shorter than reviews I do for books that I've read more recently. As it is, I don't remember every little detail. However, this is how it'll go. I have my review that's just going to be quick, easy, painless, get it out of the way. What did I think of this book? Then I'll give a rough outline of what happens in the book without giving away too many spoilers. And then section 3 will be me rambling. If you want to listen to me ramble, fantastic. If you don't want to listen to me ramble, oh well. Anyway, so my 4 sections are writing style, plot coherence, plot enjoyability, and pacing. See, writing style, do I actually like how someone wrote this book? And this is my personal opinion. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Make your own opinions based on what you hear from me, if you'd like. Anyway, do I like how this person writes? Well, Andy Weir is really good at writing, at least the way I like to read. One of my favorite books of all time is Artemis. The Martian is somewhere up there. I like The Egg. That one you can see by Kurzgesagt. They animated it. This one, pretty easy to understand. Project Hail Mary is well written. Andy Weir, despite being a mechanical engineer, and you would assume there would be a lot of technical jargon, there isn't. There is a lot in the Martian. There is a small amount in Artemis, but for Project Hail Mary, I don't recall. I don't think there was all that much, but I am a nerd, so what may seem commonplace to me may not seem commonplace to you. Plot coherence. Did I actually understand what was happening? Yeah. Andy Weir has a real awesome habit of actually spelling it out for you, making sure that you understand everything that's going on. And I have no notes here. So writing style, 4.5 out of 5. I'm not doing any more points after that. It's 4.5, whatever. Anyway. Plot coherence, 5 out of 5. Easy. You can understand it. You understand what's going on. No big issues there. Plot enjoyability. Did I actually enjoy reading this book? Yeah, I did. I give it a solid 4.5 out of 5. So it's solid, but there are definitely a few lulls. There are no points where I can blame Andy Weir, like, oh, you didn't have to have this in there. No, I think he did a really good job. Lulls happen. Every story has them. Can't blame the guy. Or most stories have them. Can't blame the guy. And pacing. So, did the amount of stuff that happen in a reasonable time frame? There are some books that are breakneck and like, dang, the pacing's just fast. I like fast-paced books. One of my favorite series is Alpha Girls by Eileen Aaron, because stuff keeps happening from page to page to page to page. Like, everything just keeps happening. I like fast-paced books. Keeps my attention. You could say I have a low attention span, but it's what I enjoy. So I can get through like 50 pages of a book by Eileen Aaron in like a day. So I give this one a 4.5 out of 5. He starts it off slow, but it picks up over time to the point that, like, every page there's something going on. So what rating does that give it? Well, out of 20 total stars, or a total rating of 20, it would give him a 9, 13.5, 18.5. I could have just done 20 minus 1.5. An 18.5 out of 20. That's pretty darn good. I mean, one of the worst books I ever read did what Andy Weir did, but poorly. And what that is, bouncing back from the present to the past. We do that a lot. Stories do that a lot, but Andy Weir does it really well. So a solid 18.5 out of 20 stars. I suggest you read it. It's awesome. What happens in this book? Okay, So a man wakes up in space and he has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know where anything is. He just knows that there's a machine around him and the machine's kind of talking to him, but he's exhausted. He feels weak. Blech. And he goes out again. Little over time, he realizes that, as you can imagine, the title implies, is that he has a very important mission to do out in space. That's about it. That's like super no spoiler stuff. The machine talk is within the first couple pages. Nothing. And he has a super important mission to do in space. Now, and as you can imagine, it's of great importance. Super important mission of great importance. Yeah. Anyway, this is where I'm going to talk about spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers to Project Hail Mary, click off now. I suggest that you read it. Whatever. Now, the main character, I think his name is Rylan Grace. I could be wrong. It has been a while. He wakes up in a machine. With another machine talking to him, an AI talking to him, and he kind of realizes that it's taking care of him. He's getting flashbacks back and forth. He starts to realize who he is and why he's there. There's a problem with our sun. The sun is starting to fade. He doesn't really know why, but he knows that it's starting to fade, and he's got an issue with his memory. He's struggling to remember every little detail leading up to him being out in space. Okay. Well, he starts figuring things out on the ship, and he starts to remember bit by bit by bit that a crew was supposed to be sent out, and as he learns, he's not part of that crew. He keeps going and going and going, and he's figuring out the different issues with, one, his ship, two, how he's going to get measurements. He's out there. He might as well figure it out anyway, even if it's not his mission. He does so, and he gets a decent amount of info, but he still can't figure out why he's there and who are the other people in the ship with him. Well, while he was back on Earth, he gets recruited by the government. And a woman who basically took over the entire world in a very short period of time, because scientists from different countries started to realize, hey, our sun's starting to dim. And it's not like, a fluctuation, it happened for a day or something like that. No, it's dimming, and it's dimming fast. We're going to die. The world governments come together. One woman takes over. She's got basically full control of the world. She wants the world to survive, and she knows that when it's all done, because of the string she's pulling, she's going to face consequences. But it doesn't matter. She needs things to happen. Rylan is thrust into a part of research. He just starts to study, and they're like, hey, we found these little itty-bitty little dot things, and figure out what they are. And he does. He figures out that they absorb energy from the sun, and they multiply using that energy. Thing is, on Earth, not a big deal. They get some energy over time, and they eventually become 4. Like, he gets 3, he ends up with 4. But as time goes on, when they're unchecked near the sun, because they're extremophiles and can handle that, the amount of those little microbes explodes. And so they continuously absorb the energy from the sun. As he's going through all of that research, and he starts to remember what's going on, he realizes that some glaciers had to be blown up on Earth in order to keep greenhouses here, so that way we didn't freeze. He meets a friend along the way. He's gotten rid of his 2 other crewmates that were with him. They're gone, and they were gone from the beginning. But he meets a new friend, a little alien, and I can't remember what he calls the alien. I will have to go and reread it before the movie. By the way, I am so excited because The Martian was so closely followed that it did fantastically, and I don't understand why. I get it. Some books you have to take some things out to make it into a movie, but not all the time and not that much. The Martian, yeah, glossed over some things in the movie, but they didn't do a whole lot. They followed the book, and oh my god, if they do the same thing with Project Hail Mary, it's going to be a fantastic movie. I hope they do. So he meets a friend along the way. It's a little alien, like I think he's a hexapod, so he's got like 6 legs. That might be the wrong word. Anyway, and they find out that the two of them not only communicate differently, but they see differently. The hexapod sees through sound, and Rylan obviously sees through light. So they have to learn to kind of merge their technologies to make it work. The other guy's an engineer. He's the last of his crew, and he's alone. But through trial and error, they figure it out until it's time to go. They got it. They got the solution. I'm not going to say what the solution is, but they got the solution. And he sends his buddy out on his way, and Rylan's leaving too. But then he starts to realize that something's off with his ship. The little microbes that they had in storage that were absorbing solar radiation, they adapted to their enclosure and they escaped. And they're in his ship. He manages to contain his, but his buddy has a ton more of them, tons more, and he loses all his fuel. He's stranded. So Ryland uses up his fuel, because he's not anywhere near Earth, uses up the remainder of his fuel to go help his buddy out. They get him back home, and Ryland is taken care of on his friend's planet. And from there, Ryland lives out his days as a teacher, as he was on Earth. That's the whole story. What did I think of it? I thought it was great. I thought it was touching. I am glad I read it. I'm glad it was on my shelf. I'm glad that it's now a part of my memories. Even if I don't remember everything, it's part of my memories. Andy Weir is an amazing author. Give it a read. Anyway, get your mind working, work that noggin, and have a good one.